The sound of heels echoed through the marble floored hallway as Taehyung slammed into the over-lavish mansion, her full living room clutched tightly in her hand. Papa, you seriously hired a bodyguard for me? She snapped, glaring at her father, Mr. Kim, the CEO of Korea's largest tech company. The young saw her father replied calmly, folding the newspaper and placing it aside. After the threatening letters and breaking a jam last week, I am not taking chances. I am 22, not 12. I don't need a babysitter following me around like a shadow. You don't need to babysitter. He corrected you. Need Jeon Jungkook. The name did not ring a bell until a tall, muscular man in a fitted black jacket stepped into the room, arms folded, expression unreadable. Sharp jawline, tattooed hand, and instant eyes screamed danger. You have got to be kidding me, the young muttered. I am Jeon Jungkook, he said coldly, barely glancing at her. From today onwards, I will be granting your sprawling little life. Her jaw dropped. Excuse me, Mr. Kim stood. He's the best in the business. Ex-military, skilled in hand-to-hand combat, fluent in 6 languages, and most importantly, he does not take nonsense. Jungkook arched a brow. Exactly. The young soldier eyes, well, I am not interested in being flawed like a puppy, so keep your distance. Jungkook smiled, clearly unimpressed. Brief me, princess. I had rather be guarding a cactus, and just like that, war had begun. From the very next morning, Jungkook was everywhere. He waited outside her university lecture halls, trailed her to cafes, and even stood guard during her prayers class like some boarding state. The young said it. I can't breathe with you around. She hissed one afternoon as she climbed into her car. Jungkook in the driver's seat, then hold your breath. He replied, adjusting the mirror. She glared. You think you are funny. I think you are loud, he replied. Despite the constant bickering, Jungkook was always alert, scanning crowds, checking exits, keeping her within sight. His job meant everything to him, but Taehyung refused to make it easy. One night, she snuck out to meet her best friend Hyejin at a club without informing him. She danced, laughed, and pretended she was free again. But when she exited the club, the alley was dark and empty. Suddenly, a man lunged at her from behind. I did not think I had found you, princess, he snarled. She screamed, and out of nowhere, a fist flew into the man's face, sending him sprawling to the ground. Get away from her, Jungkook groaned, grabbing her arm and pulling her behind him. He fought like fire. A few brutal moves, and the man lay groaning on the pavement. Taehyung was shaking. Jungkook turned to her, panting. What the hell were you thinking? Do you realize what could not happen? Her voice trembled. I just wanted one night to feel normal. He looked at her, really looked for the first time. His expression softened. I'm not here to trap you, Taehyung, he said quietly. I am here to protect you. For the next 2 days after the club incident, things changed between them. Taehyung did not chat back as much. Jungkook was not as cold. There were moments when she catch him watching her, and when she looked back, he looked away. She did not know what. Potted her more. His silence, the flutter in her stomach when he smiled slightly at her jokes. But one day she decided to test him just for fun. At university, a charming senior named Minku approached her in the library. Tall, good looking, and always flirtation. You look tired, the young want some coffee. My treat, Minho offered. The young smiled sweetly. I had loved that. From behind the bookshelf, Jungkook's eyes narrowed. He clenched his fist but stayed silent until Minho placed a hand lightly on the young's back as they walked out. Jungkook snapped. Where do you think you are going? He said, stepping in front of them like a wall. Minho blinked. Oh, just carrying coffee with her. Jungkook's voice was low, dangerous. Taehyung folded her arms. You are my bodyguard, not my boyfriend. Jungkook turned to her, his jaw tight. I'm responsible for your safety and I don't trust this guy. Minho raised up. Oh, dude, chill. I was just being friendly. Back of Jungkook golly. Taehyung slowly amused turned to Jungkook once. Minho laughed. Were you jealous? I don't get jealous, he replied stiffly. Right, she smirked, stepping closer. Your eyes are turning red. I am serious. She whispered. Her lips near his ear. You can punch bad guy. You want Jeon Jungkook, but emotions. You suck at hitting those. He stared at her stun, and that was the first comment. He did not know how to respond. Later that night, a storm broke outside as thunder rattled the windows. Jungkook waited outside her room like usual until the light under her door turned off, or so he thought. Taehyung opened the door quietly and peeked out. Hey, come inside. He hesitated. Why? Because I need to ask you something and thank you for saving me that night. He stepped in. The room was dimly lit. She sat on the edge of her bed playing with her fingers. Why do you care so much? She whispered. He blinked. It's my job. No, Jungkook, you don't get angry when it's just a job. You don't look at me like that when it's just a job. He did not answer, so she stood and walked up to him. Tell me I am wrong. His voice was rough. You are not wrong. There between them tightened. I tried not to care, Jungkook admitted, stepping closer, but every time you smile, every time the young's breath is so you are head over heels. He gave her a cooked grain. Maybe I have been falling since the first time you told me to back off. They were inches apart now, and this time she did not pull away. Just when things between them had started to melt from ice to warmth, the storm outside was not the only one brewing. That some night while Jungkook stepped out to answer a call from headquarters, Taehyung received a message on her phone. If you want Jungkook safe, come to the old warehouse on Route 9. Come alone. Her heart pounded, her fingers trembled without telling anyone. She slipped out through the back garden gate. The warehouse was cold, silent, and reeked of rust and dust. As she stepped inside, a loud voice echoed, so this is the princess everyone's protecting. She turned and gasped as two masked men grabbed her from behind. I guess your bodyguard was not that perfect after all, one of them sneered. You will regret this, she whispered, terrified but defiant. The man laughed and raised a gun. Meanwhile, Jungkook returned to the mansion to find her room empty. The guards had not seen her leave. His heart dropped. No, 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 Taehyung. He checked the surveillance system and froze when he saw her finger Sneaking out in the rain, a notification pinged her last night's location without hesitation. He kept his gun and spent towards Route 9. The warehouse door burst open with a deafening crash. The cook stormed in, gun raised, hair soaked from the rain. Let her go. The men spun around, started, but one still held the gun to Taehyung's temple. Another step, and he'll blow her pretty little head off. Jungkook's hands trembled, not with fear but rage. You want me, take me, but let her go. Taehyung's eyes widened. Jungkook, don't you dare. Suddenly, in one swift move, Jungkook dropped his weapon, only to grab a hidden knife from his boot and throw it straight into the attacker's shoulder. Gunfire erupted. Jungkook juggled the second man, fist flying, range unleashed. Taeyang fell to the floor, ducking, crying out. Moments later, both attackers were drawn unconscious, bathing heavy blood on his lips. Jungkook ran to her and cuffed her face. You hurt. Are you okay? She nodded shakily, tears pouring. I thought I lost you. He pulled her into his arms, holding her like he had never let go. Don't ever do that again. I had to protect you. She sobbed. He leaned back slightly, eyes locked on hers. You are the only thing I care about now. Can't you see them? Her hands gripped his shirt. Then said, Jungkook said, damn it, I am in love with you. Silence. Then she whispered through her tears, I love you too. And under the shattered skylight of that dark warehouse with rain still falling outside, they kissed like the world had nearly ended and they had just survived it together. Taehyung walked across the university campus. Her arm looked with Jungkook's. He was not just her bodyguard anymore, he was her world. You are still overprotective, she teased. You are still reckless, he replied, and yet she smiled. You are head over heels. He smirked, pulling her close. I fell for my Bradley princess. Who would not doubt? And she whispered back, I fell for the man who guarded my life and stole my heart. The end.